Modern life is exhausting. There was a time when you could simply use a website. You visited it, you did the thing you needed to do, and then you left. Simple. Now, every website greets you like it's trying to start a long-term relationship. Welcome. Come on in, get comfy, and let's sit for a while. Because today, we need to talk about something that has been quietly becoming completely exhausting. And that is trying to do one simple thing online without creating an account first. Because most of the time, you're not trying to begin a journey. You're not trying to join a community. You don't want newsletters. You don't want updates. You just wanted to read an article, buy one thing, check one detail, print one label. That's it. But somehow, before you can do any of that, you're now required to become a member. So now begins the process. Enter your email. Create a password. Confirm the password. Verify your email. Click the link. Prove you're not a robot. Select all images containing traffic lights. Miss one tiny corner of a bicycle. Start again. And honestly, these prove you're human tests are starting to feel slightly insulting because suddenly you're under pressure. You're staring intensely at blurry photographs of buses, wondering, is that technically part of the bus? And the longer it takes, the less human you begin to feel. And then comes the moment they ask, would you like to receive updates, offers, news, alerts, promotions? No, you would not. You came here for one thing. You're already tired. Then there's the temptation of the easy option. Continue with Google. Very appealing, very quick, but also slightly unsettling. Because now it feels like Google knows far too much about your life already. And yet you still click it. Because honestly, you don't have the strength to invent another password. And somewhere in all this, you suddenly realise you spent 10 minutes trying to access something that should have taken 30 seconds. And you haven't even done the thing yet. And once you finally create the account, that should really be the end of it. But somehow, that's only the beginning. Because before you can even look at the website properly, you're faced with accept all cookies. And suddenly, you're making decisions you don't fully understand. There are options, settings, legitimate interest, hundreds of tiny switches for companies you've never heard of. And at this point, most people just click accept all. Not because they want to, but because they simply want to move on with their lives. And then the next time you return, the website remembers you, which somehow feels both helpful and slightly threatening. Welcome back. How did you know I was here? And this is where things become unsettling. Because you look at one thing online, just once, and suddenly it follows you everywhere. You casually search for a kettle. Now every website you visit believes you are deeply obsessed with kettles. The internet becomes convinced that kettles are now your entire personality. And then there are subscriptions. Everything is now a subscription. Music, television, storage, apps, things you didn't even realise could become subscriptions. And they all begin the same way. Free trial. Very friendly, very inviting. Until suddenly, months later, you discover you've been quietly paying for something you forgot existed. And then comes the true modern challenge. Trying to cancel it. Signing up took about 6 seconds. Cancelling it requires determination, emotional resilience, and sometimes a small quest. You search through settings, account settings, profile settings, subscription settings, hidden settings inside other settings, until eventually you find a tiny grey button that says manage plan, which somehow still isn't the cancel button. And even when you finally find it, the website suddenly becomes emotional. Are you sure you want to leave? You'll lose access to premium features. This is goodbye. Now, somehow, you're breaking up with a website. And when you step back from all of this, it's honestly incredible how much effort now goes into doing very ordinary things. Not difficult things, ordinary things. And when you really step back from all of this, it's actually quite strange, because technology was supposed to make life simpler, faster, more convenient. And in some ways it absolutely has. But in other ways, it feels like even the smallest task now comes with a process, because nothing online is ever just do the thing. Now it's create the account, verify the email, accept the cookies, choose the preferences, download the app, enable notifications, upgrade to premium, all before you've even managed to do the thing you originally came for. And perhaps that's the real feeling underneath all of this. Everything online wants something from you. Your attention, your details, your subscription, your data. Every website feels like it's trying to keep you there, which is why even simple things can start to feel strangely tiring. Because modern life now involves hundreds of tiny decisions. Accept, decline, skip, allow, later, remind me tomorrow. And individually, none of these things matter very much, but altogether they become noise. Constant little interruptions asking for your attention. And maybe that's why people sometimes feel nostalgic for simpler versions of things. Not because the past was perfect, but because some things felt more straightforward. You bought something, you owned it. You used something, it worked. And then everyone moved on. No accounts, no passwords, no monthly payments. No emotional farewell messages from websites when you tried to cancel a free trial. And yet, despite all of this, we've adapted remarkably well. We remember dozens of passwords. We navigate endless menus. We instinctively close pop-ups at the speed of light. At this point, most of us could probably pass a professional level capture exam. And maybe that's the funny part. Modern life is slightly ridiculous sometimes. But we're all quietly learning how to survive in it. One password reset at a time. And perhaps the next time a website asks you to create an account before you can simply read one article, you'll pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and remember that all of us are equally exhausted by this now. I'd love to ask, what's the most ridiculous thing a website has ever asked you to do just to access something simple? Thank you for sharing your time with me today. Take gentle care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.